Hey Super Horror fam, we're back in the most expensive taxpayer-funded retirement home, also known as the White House, to bring you the most fun horror show on YouTube, the Super Horror Show. Tonight we're going to talk about Halloween safety with the beautiful supernatural Sammy.
Hey horror fam.
And Rodger.
Heyo.
Halloween is a great time of year to...
Papa Bones, am I beautiful?
What?
Am I beautiful?
Rodger, are you experiencing some kind of crisis that we can say we'll figure out later, but then never bring up again?
I don't think so. I just noticed you called Sammy beautiful.
Oh my god, Rodger, fine. Yes, you're beautiful, whatever. Can we just get on with the show? So like I was saying, Halloween is...
Can I be hot?
Wait. Rodger, are you trying to get the horror babes?
I don't want to talk about it.
Tonight we're talking Halloween safety with the beautiful supernatural Sammy and Rodger. Rodger is very sexy, enjoys long walks on the beach and pictures of unicorns. Halloween is such a fun time of year. There's creepy stories, running around in costumes, and candy! Now before we come down on this candy together, I need to ask, did you two know candy can be dangerous? Aside from the rap hoop, which is regulated by the FDA, there have been events that have made people wary about Halloween candy. In 1964, a woman in New York named Helen Pfeil gave out ant poison and dog biscuits to trick-or-treaters. When confronted by law enforcement, she insisted it was just a joke she was playing, and that she only gave these jokes to trick-or-treaters she felt were too old to be out. No one was hurt, but no one found her jokes funny. And in Texas, 1974, a man named Ronald O'Brien gave cyanide-laced pixie sticks to 5 children. One of them died. He was later convicted and sentenced to death by lethal injection.
Oh my god. So there's truth to the poison candy stories?
Wait, what did you say?
Don't worry, Rodger. The worst I heard last year were people were accidentally giving out CBD edibles and Halloween candy.
What's that?
Drugs.
There's drugs in the candy now? Oh man. Those must have been the wrong kind of drugs.
I see you're awake, Mr. Kilmore. How are you feeling?
Okay, I guess. Which drugs were in the candies I ate?
Drugs? You're here because you passed out. We did a tox screen and it appears you ingested an obscene amount of rat feces.
I'm gonna need a few minutes to get back to the studio. In the meantime, watch these creepy Halloween experiences sent in by subscribers.
Years ago, I had a friend who worked at an Erie trout farm in England. Erie because he actually lived in a small upper room in the ancient, enormous building that had absolutely no home comforts and was so dismal. As I was getting in my car to go home, the night before Halloween, we both saw a dark figure by the gates, holding what appeared to be a pumpkin. My brave friend Carl ran after him, shouting, "What do you want?" But the man totally disappeared in a flash. We followed him to the road, which, though dark, was lit by some streetlights, and was very straight for a good 100 meters before a bend. It was a huge wall running the length of the fish farm boundary, and no places to hide. Yet there was absolutely no sign of the figure. I jumped into my car and drove up the road, but saw nobody. However, there was definitely a dark figure lurking and watching us by that big iron gate. We both saw it, and still talk about it to this day. I admit I am skeptical about ghosts, thinking there has to be some logical explanation, yet have had several other encounters in my life, which have absolutely no logical explanation. My older kids say I'm a scaredy cat. It doesn't really make sense. I enjoy watching shows about murder and true crime, but horror movies scare me. I know it sounds silly. I can watch shows about real killers all day but the fake killers get to me. So it was Halloween 2019, and I took my 2 little boys trick-or-treating. They were both pretty young, and some people in our town take Halloween very seriously. We would skip the houses that looked too scary. It was only a few. There was still more than enough candy without them. My boys were having a great time when a car pulled up behind us. It's hard to tell when you're walking, but it was like it had its brights on. I could hear the door open, and then a man stepped forward. He had a mask on and a chainsaw in his hand. He revved it up. It was so loud that the sound itself was shocking. He started chasing all the little kids. My boys and I were out of there. I'm sure it wasn't a real chainsaw, but it was so loud it definitely caught me off guard. I figured maybe he came from one of the scary houses when they realized no kid was coming to risk it for some M&Ms. When I was a kid, the creepy old man of the neighborhood lived behind us. We all ran by his house on Halloween. One year, he saw us and called us to come here. We were caught and slowly walked up to his door, and he sort of corralled us into his house. We all knew we were dead. He reached into a bowl and dropped apples into our bags. I was already out the door running and screaming. I guess everyone else followed. Once we were a safe distance away from him, we realized the scariest thing about him was that he gave us fruit. It was considered insulting to give fruit for Halloween. It weighed you down, and you had to travel light to save room for candy. We were pretty awful kids. Oh, this really happened back in the day, when people said, back in the day.
So it turns out you should add rat poop to the list of things that are not good for you.
What else is on this list?
Weren't you paying attention? Cyanide, ant poison, and dog biscuits.
Candy isn't the only potentially dangerous thing on Halloween.
I thought candy was safe as long as you took out the poison and rat poop.
Don't forget the dog biscuits.
Actually, I didn't know this about myself before today, but I'm okay with dog biscuits.
Ahem. Another dangerous thing is people, especially if you're a horror babe. Let's face it, in your day-to-day interactions, most people are great. But on Halloween, some people act like idiots because a Halloween costume makes them anonymous. It can be really confusing because Halloween is a very playful time, so someone could even innocently think it's okay to get close to you.
Oh, do I have permission to sniff you?
Never! This is exactly what I'm talking about. You should never—
Do you like me?
Oh shit!
I went as Red Riding Hood for Halloween to a costume party. There was this guy who weirdly enough went as the Wolfie character. He got an old zoot suit with a hat and a really good wolf mask. The eyes glowed yellow and the mouth moved. He kept following me around at the party, but didn't say anything at first. It got to the point where I told him, "You need to please stop following me around. If you want to dance, talk, or hang out with me, just say so." He said to me, "Don't stay at the party past 10 o'clock, things will get ugly." Then he walked off. I shrugged and felt confused. Later, the hostess of the party, a friend of my friend, asked me if I was okay. I told her about the man in the Wolfie costume. I also told her what he had said to me. The hostess looked confused. I didn't see anyone matching that description. The RSVP also had a rule to mention which costume you were wearing, so I wouldn't have any party crashers. Nobody came as a Tex Avery character except for you. We checked around the party asking if anyone had seen Wolfie. Nobody had seen him. We couldn't find him. There was no way he could have left without us seeing a car head down the driveway and out the gate. The hostess checked the security cameras, but no footage of Wolfie was there. As it is, he had approached me in one of the camera's blind spots. I saw the grandfather clock in the entry foyer, showing 5 minutes to 10. I politely told the hostess I needed to go. I made up a story and thanked her for inviting me. She seemed puzzled that I was leaving early, but let me go. I got my car keys out of my picnic basket I was using as my prop to hold my pocketbook, phone, and keys, as well as spare makeup and a hand mirror. I got into my car and drove away. Later that night, as I was getting changed, I saw my neighbor Hal coming home from celebrating Halloween. He wore a zoot suit with a hat and was carrying a high-quality wolf mask, just like the party guest. I stepped out of my apartment and confronted him, asking him why he had said what he had said at the party. Hal looked really confused and said to me, "This is the first time I've spoken to you all night." I told Hal about the party, where I went and what had happened. He replied, "There's no way I could have been at that party. I was in the next county over at a friend's Halloween party." Hal even showed me the photos on his phone to prove it. His friend's house had a view of several prominent landmarks in that county, so I knew the photos were real. I was shocked. But I wonder, who was that then? And why he said to me what he had said? And why did I obey him? Hal laughed and said, "I don't know, but I had nothing to do with it. Maybe you should get some sleep." I agreed, and we exchanged bids of good night. The next day I saw my friend's house on the local news. A fire had somehow broken out at our party. The cause was still pending investigation, but it had started at 10 o'clock that very night. To this day I have no idea who that party guest was, but he very well saved my life. It wasn't Hal, yet he wore the exact same costume as his. It wasn't any of the invited guests, according to the hostess. Fortunately, she had survived the fire. But whoever you are, thank you.
Before we continue talking about protecting yourself this Halloween, I wanted to take a moment to talk about the Super Horror Show calendar. Other calendars might have something spooky for October, but with the Super Horror Show calendar, you can keep it creepy all year round. For October, they are $20 plus $5 shipping. We are getting a deal because it's not calendar season. So grab one now before the price goes up. Just PayPal the email address on the screen to get yours ASAP. Traveling with friends is a great way to stay safe, but if that's not enough, if someone's bothering you, tell them to piss off in a loud, clear voice. It can be uncomfortable to do that, but predators count on you staying silent.
Papa Bones, can I give a Halloween safety tip too?
Here, Rodger. What do you got for us?
You shouldn't try and taste electricity.
What? Oh.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand what you're saying, I should not try to taste electricity.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do my best. But electricity can be hard to resist.
Wait, you like electricity? It tastes like burnt toast. Do you like burnt toast?
Okay. So to wrap this up, check your candy. Be comfortable enough to make a scene if someone's making you uncomfortable, and don't try to taste electricity this Halloween.
Or any other day.
Or any other day. Until next week, Super Horror fam, you are so special. Take good care of yourselves, and remember, if the frilly candy available now is too much for you to handle, just grab some chocolate from the airport. It's usually plain. Get it?